All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome. If you're new here, this is the weekly recap video where I go over how I did with the picks, and we sort of just touch base briefly on each NFL game, and I sort of give my thoughts and take on how everything went, how everything is going. This is the board. Also, if you're new here, to explain this briefly, we have all the games up here listed with the exception of the 2 Monday night games, which I'm going to read off the paper. The green check marks indicate that I predicted this game correctly, and then the banners go to the teams that win. The red X means I picked that game incorrectly. Pretty simple. So we'll go over the totals for the picks at the end of the video, so stick around for that to hear how I'm doing, which is actually pretty well. All right, so the first game on the board is the Falcons and the Vikings. I'm not really going to go over this one. I did 3 videos on this yesterday. We all know what I think about this, so we're just going to move on. Next, we've got the Texans and the Titans. This game was fantastic, fun, all kinds of drunkenness, getting all the way to overtime. Some exceptional coaching by Mike Vrabel to intentionally have 12 men on the field to sort of get a free timeout, if you will, and preserve time for his offense to get the ball back and score some points. I went into this game thinking that the Titans were certainly going to win because the Texans are still, they're still a pretty meh football team, if you will. But I got to say the offense looks much better. The team itself looks much better ever since they fired Bill O'Brien. And it's just going to be a matter of time before they can sort of retool that defense, because right now the defense can't keep up with the offense. It's just a real struggle bus for them. If we had the offense in Minnesota that they have in Houston and didn't change defenses, I think Minnesota would be doing a lot better right now. But that's just not the reality of the situation. I don't know who can stop Derrick Henry. If you think you can, please step forward, because it is not me. And I would not even volunteer if I was a linebacker or any sort of NFL player. He can have whatever he wants. I'm getting out of his way. Moving on to the Colts and the Bengals. Bengals sort of fall back down to earth a little bit. Colts with the win, 31-27. I picked the Bengals in this one just because I thought maybe they would be riding that wave of, high hopes and what have you. But after this is over, it looks like this is now the T. Higgins team for the wide receiver group. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. John Ross has reportedly requested a trade, which I don't know where that's going to get him. And A.J. Green just looks like he's on his way out. I don't think he's going to be able to finish this season. He's just a shell of his former self. As far as the Colts, mad props to Phillip Rivers for going through the media and reading all of his criticisms, which he said he did in the post-game press conference. Man, that's real leadership. For a quarterback to go in front of the media and say, I stunk up the joint last week, so I read all of your critiques. And his response to those critiques was that y'all are pretty honest about how badly I play. So, props to him for doing that and going into the week and getting the win. So Colts, I thought may have been a little bit fraudulent before, but if Phillip Rivers can play like that every single week, this team will be fine. Moving on to the Broncos and the Patriots, one of the surprising games of the week was Drew Lock putting up the weird stat line that he did and still getting a win against New England. New England is it's kind of an enigma right now. I think Bill Belichick has kind of been pushed to his boundaries in terms of being able to genius his way out of situations. He just doesn't have the talent that he's had in years past. And also, it was kind of revealing during the post-game press conference when he said, we need more time together. We need to be able to practice together. Because of all of the positive COVID test results and the necessary quarantines following protocol and whatnot, he hasn't had ample time to install his game plan. And I think we saw the result of that here this week. So I think if the Patriots going forward don't have any more, COVID problems and they're able to practice normally, I think they'll be fine. The Broncos, I think this is probably a one-off. This probably staves off some criticism against Vic Fangio. So, he could be on the short list of coaches that might end up getting fired at the end of the season. But I think with all the injuries in Denver, they'll probably give him another shot next year. Moving on to the Giants and the Washington football team. I almost took the Giants in the survivor pool, and I kind of wish that I had, because this was the one opportunity on paper where it looked like it would have paid off. But I chickened out and went with a safe bet with Miami. So the Giants get their first win of the season. The Washington football team is just, I think, kind of just treading water right now. They really want Antonio Gibson to be the focal point of the offense, but he just doesn't have enough experience, and the team's just not good enough to sort of maintain that style of play. And then, Kyle Allen is what we all knew he was going to be, nothing exceptional. It's just the NFC East is just up for grabs right now, and it's just complete garbage given the fact that the Cowboys lead it with a 2-4 record. Moving on to the Ravens and the Eagles. The Eagles, they played a little bit better, I guess, against a team that's really good. But the fact is that Carson Wentz just hasn't done well this year, and a lot of that has to do with the opening day starters being not available right now. Because you look at what the offensive line was supposed to be in week 1 and what it is now, and it's just night and day different. And then the same thing with skill position players. You had Miles Sanders leave with an injury on this game, and it's just the whole season's just imploding. It's just the worst of the worst when it comes to the injury bug and just having bad luck. So luckily, there's still an opportunity, as the aforementioned division is completely terrible. So at I believe the record right now is 1-4-1 or 1-3-1. 1-4-1, I think, is what it is. So that tie actually helps them a little bit. As far as the Ravens go, taking care of business. The scores are probably a little bit closer than they would like it to be, but I just think that they really need to figure out a way to utilize J.K. Dobbins a little bit more. Moving on to the Browns and Steelers, this was supposed to be the marquee matchup for everyone, and it kind of fell short given the dominance that the Pittsburgh Steelers put down on the Browns in this game. Baker Mayfield doesn't look good. He hasn't been playing good for a while now. He didn't really play all that good last year. He really regressed after his rookie season. I don't really know what to blame it on, other than the fact that it could be that Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens just taught him some really bad habits that he's having a really difficult time trying to break, and he could just not be on the same page with this new offense that's Kevin Stefanski has installed, which is, of course, run heavy and pass when you need to. So it came out to be that when you need to pass to catch up, to play, to catch up with points and chase points, it doesn't work out all that well. But, at the same time, the Steelers are really good. I expect the Browns to bounce back after this because the Steelers front seven, or the defensive line in general, is the best positional group in the league right now at this moment. It's just that good. The Bears and the Panthers. Bears win 23-16. The Bears continue to surprise me, and I keep calling them fraudulent. And now that they're 1-5, I don't think I'm going to change that tune. I think eventually this is going to catch up to them. They might be able to sneak into the playoffs because they only need at least, I would say, 4 more wins to be serious contenders for at least a playoff spot. Are they going to go anywhere with that? No, probably not. Nick Foles is still who he is. That, and they can't seem to get the running game going worth a damn. On the Panthers side, they've performed beyond expectations so far this year. So the fact that they're going to lose a few games is of no surprise. I don't expect this to be any sort of deterrence for them going forward. I think this team is still actually better than what we thought it was, so they'll still be good going forward. Moving on with the Lions and the Jaguars. I picked the Lions because I thought, this is going to be one of those games where we find out which team is actually the worst of the two. And no surprise, it's Jacksonville. And I think with this continuing trend, having not won since opening day, the Jaguars are definitely looking at a top 5 pick where they're going to be selecting a new quarterback, because Gardner Minshew, as I've been saying for weeks, is just too athletically limited. He's not the kind of quarterback that you want in there to be able to do the things that you got to do at this level in order to move the offense down the field. Now, he does make a lot of great reads. He does a lot of things to help his wide receivers get open and put them in positions to get separation and what have you. But at the same time, he's just athletically limited. You get somebody in there like a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance, and this offense is going to take off. Trust me on that. The Jets and the Dolphins, not really much to say about this other than the Jets putting up the goose egg, and we now have Tua Tagovailoa as the starter in Miami, who has been named the starter after this game was over. He ended up finishing out the game in garbage time, completed 2 passes. And it was just great to be able to see him. The rollouts to the left side, because he's left-handed, it's fantastic, and we're going to get to see that more and more. So they head into the bye week with Tua named the starter. That gives him an extra week to prepare. It's just unfortunate that his first start is going to be coming against the Rams. As far as the Jets, nothing to say. Dead in the water. Roster sucks. you're just waiting till the end of the season for big time changes. The Packers and the Bucks, surprising? No, because I've thought for this entire year and before the season started that the Buccaneers defense was better than people were letting on. It's got a lot of good key pieces. The fact that they lost Vita Vea for the season sucks, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to miss a beat. They just got the guy from the Jets, whose name escapes me at the moment, to replace him, so they'll be fine. Antoine Winfield's playing great. The defense is good enough. We saw this, sort of the evidence is this game against Aaron Rodgers, right? Where you take somebody who is putting together an MVP season and you just shut him down. And he's going to be getting a little bit, I think he's going to be looking for some revenge next time the Vikings play him in Lambeau in 2 weeks. So this will put a chip on Aaron Rodgers' shoulder where he will come back next week and probably light it up. So there's no real concern if you're a Packers fan, because let's face it, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's the Green Bay Packers. You're going to have one of these games every now and then, so it's no big deal. Next, we have the Rams and the 49ers. I'm surprised the 49ers won this game. It was just one of those chess matches between two head coaches who don't trust their quarterbacks to do too much on their own, and that was kind of funny to watch. But at the same time, the Rams might be a little fraudulent because they got to play the entirety of the NFC East to open their season, and now they get into their divisional games, and suddenly things get a little bit harder because you're not playing really bad teams that are just all, collected in one division. So we'll have to see how that plays out. As far as the 49ers go, they definitely need somebody other than Jimmy Garoppolo to run this offense. It sucks that Raheem Mostert is probably going back to injured reserve. It is what it is, but the good news is that Deebo Samuel's back on the field, and he looks like he is in midseason form. The two games that I don't have on the board, the Chiefs and the Bills for Monday night, and the Cardinals and the Cowboys. Both of those games I picked correctly. That brings my Week 6 record to 9-5. My overall record on the season picking games is 60-30. Nice even numbers. For the Chiefs and the Bills game, rainy, frustrating. Can't really do any sort of the high-flying, high-passing volume offenses. So Andy Reid runs it 46 times and gets the win. Not surprising given the fact that the Buffalo Bills defense has been struggling recently, and especially up front. So the fact that Andy Reid went with the game plan just shows you how much of a great coach he is, that he's able to identify a weakness and exploit it. Josh Allen struggled mightily in this game, probably took himself out of the MVP race. Not that he was that deep in it, but he was a fringe candidate, if you will. So I think the Bills are going to be fine. They play in a division right now that's pretty weak. The Dolphins could surprise them if they're not careful, and there's always the Patriots to consider. And then the Chiefs are just back to normal. I didn't think there was a chance that they were going to lose 2 in a row. As far as the Cardinals and the Cowboys go, Cardinals get the win, and the Cowboys look like their season is just pretty much doomed right now. Andy Dalton is who he is. I'm not really sure anybody was thinking that he was going to step up and be Dak Prescott 2.0. It's just the fact of the matter that he's in an offense that has a lot of great skill position players around him. But, he's always had, decent weapons in Cincinnati with A.J. Green and Joe Mixon and Tyler Boyd for a while. He's just not, the next level quarterback that you want in order to ascend and take your team to the next step, which is the playoffs. So it's going to be a long season in Dallas. There will be games where Andy Dalton figures it out and puts up a lot of stats and points, but it's probably going to be a couple weeks before that happens. So that is the Week 6 recap. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.